or melismas. So what is a run? A run is simply singing several notes on one syllable. So for example, Gloria. So that classic song on the syllable glow, that's a huge melisma. So doing that is doing the same thing you're doing when you're singing a run in an R&B tune or a pop tune, except one's much more modern and one's much more classic. So what makes a good run? A good run is clean, so you can hear each individual pitch. Each note is in tune. It's not breathy, and I'm going to explain why breathiness is a bad thing. And the dynamic is consistent, so you're not running out of air by the end and losing your dynamics and going all soft. So let's talk about speed. When you're singing a run, it's going to be much easier to sing fast when you're singing in your belting range than in your lower range. Why? Because your lower range, when you're singing in your lower range, you automatically have to make more space for these low notes to come out, and it's normally more breathy as well, though you have to try not to make it breathy. And the air is more spread out as opposed to concentrated. So whereas when you're singing in your belting range, the passageway for air to flow is already narrow, so you're already in a good position for your voice to be agile and to move fast through the notes. So I'm going to demonstrate. First, a run in my low register. Hey, hey. So what happens is that it's really hard to sing each note in tune, and I don't want to sacrifice being in tune for being fast. So in order to sing in tune, I generally have to make it slower. Whereas if I'm belting, I'll do a belting one now. Hey, 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 hey. I don't have to focus as much on each individual pitch because just the position makes it much easier to sing a run really fast. Alright, so why is breathiness bad? Breathiness makes you waste a lot of air, first of all. So you know how precious your air is when you're singing. And when you're singing a run, you need a lot of air because you're singing a lot of notes with one breath. Second, as I said already, your air is spread out when you're singing in a breathy way. And what you want is just a narrow, concentrated stream of air coming out. You know, so breathiness eliminates that. And you're not going to be able to sing a fast run when you're breathy, and you're not going to be able to sing in tune if you're breathy. That's just the way it is. Also, it doesn't sound very good, so don't do it. Alright, so let's talk about going down in a run versus going up. So most runs go down just because they're easier, first of all, and also they tend to be towards the ends of phrases, and the ends of phrases tend to resolve down. That's just how music works. But you can find runs that go up, that go down, and that mix and match. So what's the difference? When you're singing a run going up, people tend to find those harder because you have to hit each individual pitch, and you have to kind of like think about it and position your body to hit it. Whereas when you are singing a run that goes down, instead of thinking about hitting each individual note, what you're doing is more like readjusting the position of your body and opening up more your cavities to sing each note going down, because you need more space for each note that goes down. So instead of hitting each note, you're actually just sort of releasing the amount of air necessary to hit that note. So although it's easier, you need to keep in mind that many singers, when they start out singing runs, they make the mistake of really supporting the first note of a run going down, and then forgetting about their breath support, forgetting about their diaphragm and their core muscles, because they think, oh, I'm going down, so low notes are easier, so I already supported the first note and now I'm going to release. But you can't do that, because then you're going to run out of air, and then your run is not going to have the dynamics that you want. So in order to have good control, you need to support each note as you're going down until the end of your run. And then you can have whatever dynamic you want, and they're all going to be in tune like they should. So, how do you practice a run? The most important thing, and the first step to practice a run, is to nail the first note. So, if you are trying to figure out a run and you don't know where to start, just sing the passage without the run. Just stop at the first note of that run. So for example, if I'm gonna sing a run in at last, so I'm gonna sing the run in the syllable last. The first step is just to stop at last and just sing that note straight. At last. Okay, so now that I know I got that note, I can add whatever I want to it. At last, or at last, or whatever else I want. So if you want to copy someone's runs, for example, if you hear a Christina Aguilera song and you want to practice her runs, how do you practice them? First, actually practice a song without the runs and make sure you're nailing the melody, because that's tied with making sure that you got the first note of the runs. And once you know the melody already, then you can start by adding each run. So what do you do if you don't know how to approach a really complicated note or a really complicated run? First, you know where the first note is. Then you listen to it and you dissect it. So you listen to each individual pitch in the run. And if you play an instrument like guitar or piano, you can play the pitches in your instrument, and that really helps to identify them. And if you're a singer and you don't play an instrument, piano is a great instrument to complement singing. So, for example, let's say that I want to learn this run. Hey, hey, yeah. But I have no idea where to start. First, let's sing just the first note straight. Hey! Okay, so we got that. Now let's dissect the run. Hey, 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 yeah. So I know where each pitch is, and I'm not just gonna sing a random combination of pitches, or they're not gonna be off tune because I already know them in my head. So once I'm really familiar with the pitches, then I can start to put them together slowly and make sure that they're still in tune. So go as slow as you can without running out of air. Hey, yeah. And practice over and over doing the run slowly. And once you got it, then you can speed it up with no problem. Hey, yeah. Alright, so what do you do if you want to add your own runs to a song that doesn't have them or that has different runs? Well, if the song already has runs, take them out and learn the original melody without runs. Alright? Once you know the melody, then you can start by adding simple runs. And if you want to learn how to make your own runs, the thing I recommend the most is to familiarize yourself with basic scales. So the ones I tell you to memorize are the major scale, the minor scale, major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, and blues scale. With those scales, you are going to be able to run in pretty much every song, every popular song at least. So once you know scales, you can do cool stuff and start basic. So first, I'm just going to start by doing the first two steps of the scale, so do and re. Do, re, do. So, for example, let's do the song I Will Always Love You. So this is a basic chorus. And I will always love you. And this is just adding this run. So just by adding that, you're already embellishing the song. So that's a really simple run, but you can also do like, I will always, and And that's just a variation of like 3, 2, 1 on the scale. So mi, re, do. So that's why it's important to learn scales, because then you can figure out runs in your head and then perform them. Alright? So, let's talk about common mistakes that people make when they're first learning runs. First of all, when you are learning to do runs, you're going to want to spend a lot of time working on your runs because they are harder than just singing normally, and that's understandable. But when you're performing a song, make sure to pay attention to the whole melody you're singing, and don't focus all your support on your run and forget about the rest of the melody. The whole song is important. You need to put your character into it, you need to put your breath support into it, all your technique into the whole song. That's what makes a good singer, you know, to be consistent. Alright, so another mistake that's much more common when people start to do runs is over-singing. Runs are embellishments. They're not supposed to embellish the whole song. Alright, so less is more when it comes to runs. Alright, because you want to use your runs to impress someone, but if you start doing runs at the beginning of the song and then you already like pulled all your tricks, then you're gonna bore the audience. They're not gonna understand what the real melody is. They're probably not gonna feel the emotion of the song because they're gonna be too focused on your technique. And you're not gonna have anything to show them at the end. So my advice is to just use them sparingly. Use them when you want to highlight a word or when you want to highlight a note in the song. Just sprinkle them, use very sparingly in the beginning of the song, hint at them, and then towards the end you can use them a little more to make a good build up towards the end of the song. But there are some songs where runs apply more than others. Obviously R&B, blues, pop, some pop songs. Those are good genres to try runs. You know, some rock songs are not that suited for runs, so don't try them there. Jazz has very specific runs, so if you want to learn how to run in jazz, you should really listen to some jazz singers like Ella Fitzgerald. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something. And if you have any question, you can leave it on the comments. And if you want me to make another tutorial, please say what you would like to learn in the comments. Thank you.